I know I keep talking about it, but I've spent quite a bit of time in my garage. I'm kind of proud of it, honestly. I did the floor and just peel and stick tile. I think it came out awesome. I'm working on paneling the wall. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. It's kind of like race car floor and like a rustic looking wall. But maybe when I cover it on car stuff, it won't be so bad. But yeah, anyways, so the car's been at work. So the turbo 2-door has been at work for a couple weeks now. It let me finish up the floor. I didn't want anything in the garage, well, not anything, but I wanted the garage as empty as I could get it to do the floor and all that. So the floor's done. I've actually got parts stocked up for this car. I've got the clutch, I've got the flywheel, I feel like I have something else. I don't know, but I just need to get in here and get some shit done. Oh yeah, I got some bearings for the transmission because the input shaft bearing is making all kinds of noise. Anyways, let's go get the car, go bring it into the garage finally. Now that the car's finally in here, I can give it some attention. I sort of screwed up like I always do. I'm really good at that. So what's been going on is the car started to push coolant at around 12 psi. When I was running like 8 to 10, it was fine. I didn't have any problems. And then I got greedy and upped it to 12, and it started pushing coolant because I did not have head studs yet. I had pulled the head studs out of my 4-door Civic, and they got rusted up. They got kind of nasty. I didn't want to run them on this. So at 12 psi, I noticed the coolant coming out. I went ahead and got the head studs and torqued them down, kind of like hoping and praying. Just torquing the shit out of them would help that issue, but it was too little too late. Actually, what did happen is that I did that at 12 pounds. I got the head studs and torqued them down. It actually did stop it from pushing coolant. It was fine. And then I got even more greedy. I turned up the boost even more from there up to where it's at now on Huntertuned suite. It's registering like 15.8 or something, like 16 pounds basically. And at that point, it started pushing coolant again. And basically this head gasket is just too far gone. It is just a cheapy Felpro I got from the parts store. Really crappy gasket, and that's combination of the crappy gasket, combination of me putting too much boost without studs, just a combination of those two things. It's just trash now. I need to get a quality gasket, like a Cosmetic, or somebody recommended a JE Pro Seal or something, like a JE gasket. Let me know what you think I should run. As of right now, I'm leaning towards the Cosmetic just because that's kind of the tried and true gasket that everyone runs. But so if you've seen my videos before, I always drop the motor transmission on the ground. Like I lift the car up and drop it down. But I finally have an engine hoist after all these years. Excuse my plate. After all these years, I finally have an engine hoist. So freaking happy about that, because I do have to do the clutch, which is somewhere in all this mess. I have got a clutch, I've got some new bearings for the transmission, some new seals. All that has to go in. So yeah, I kind of want to pull the whole motor and trans out together and clean up the bay, get rid of the evap stuff in the back, maybe do a little bit of wire tuck. I don't know. I always say I want to do all these things, but I always get really impatient and just do what I got to do and get it back on the road. So, I don't know. I might... Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Now, before I start taking the car apart in my next episode or two, I might as well show you what to look for if you have a bad head gasket, because a lot of people might not know what to look for if you have a bad gasket. So this video kind of goes out to them. So one thing that can happen is you can get oil mixing with coolant, and of course you would get milky, nasty looking oil, which in this case is good. I don't have any coolant in the oil. You can have oil mixing with the coolants, you know, vice versa. It can go both ways. So your coolant would look really nasty. You know what, let me top that off. Which if you did, your coolant will look really nasty. This one doesn't have any oil in the coolant, but usually what happens in Hondas is you've got coolant around the piston, kind of like on this LS block here. So here's a LS block, but you've got coolant passages surrounding the piston to cool the cylinder, and also it goes up to the cylinder head. and what happens is the gasket will blow between the piston and the coolant jacket. So what happens then is the compression leaks into the coolant system. Every time it compresses, it's basically charging up the coolant system with pressurized air. And you can tell it's doing that because it'll start bubbling from the coolant, from the radiator, but you gotta let it warm up to operating temp, let the thermostat open, let it get hot, and then check for bubbling in the coolant. And it should almost be there, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So to kind of come back to this block, here we have oil and the coolant passage is here. If the gasket would fail here, you would have coolant mixing with the oil. But usually what happens under boost or like racing conditions is the gasket will give here. Like I said, this is the weakest point that usually fails. I'm gonna give it some gas. Even though it's just, let me turn this car off. Even though it's just very, very small, the amount of bubbles coming out of the coolant, you know, that's the sign of a bad head gasket. Because yeah, at idle, it's bubbling just a little bit, but imagine when it's under a load, and then when it's under boost, the problem is exaggerated because then it's really forcing air into the coolant system. So much so that you can see where it's sprayed. Pretty much there's like a line this way of where the coolant is spraying out of the overflow. That's wet. This has been wet, water stained, water stained. There's water stains back here. That's how much pressure is being shot out of the radiator because of that bad gasket. Yeah, but I guess that's enough for one video. Just kind of an update. Finally got the car home in my garage. Yeah, I can start taking it apart, get a quality head gasket in there, get the clutch in there, open up the trans, replace some bearings, and just get this car 100%. I got a new axle for it too. That's what that is there. I got this on Amazon. It was like an Amazon warehouse deal. I got this axle for like $25 or something stupid like that. I love those Amazon warehouse deals. But yeah, that's it for this one. All right guys, before I go, quick update on the LS1 IS300 build. I was gonna run this Trailblazer SS manifold, but it's too tall. It won't clear the hood of the Lexus. So I posted it for sale because the plan is I need to run a car manifold like off of an LS1, LS2 or LS6 because you know, low profile, I won't have a problem with hood clearance. And I posted this for sale, and Hunter from Huntertuned asked for it. And I'm like, dude, if you want this, you can have it. Just give me a shout out on your channel and this manifold is yours. He's gonna stick this on that white single cab Silverado he just got recently. But yeah, he's gonna be doing that one up soon, so keep an eye out for that. This intake is going out to Huntertuned. Thanks for showing interest, and thanks for giving me a shout out. Here's the IS. I'm gonna be selling the wheels as well because that's when I just wanted to be kind of, you know, lowered, somewhat stanced or static, I guess as they call it. Had camera at the rear, it is tucking. But if I'm gonna be putting in LS1, this car needs some meat. I think I'm gonna go with like 15s in the back with some meaty tires, something like 255 60s, like drag rails or something like that. And the front, for now, I'll probably just run the stock 17s, and eventually get the matching wheels for the front that I'm gonna have in the rear. I want to run the same VMS I think they're called VMS V-Star wheels that I have on my Civic. I really like the design. They're just a simple 5-spoke with like a polished engravings and stuff like that. It looked really cool. I think a 15-inch wheel on this car with a meaty tire would look awesome. So that's the plan for this. But I'm looking at a car that I might actually put these wheels on if I don't sell them. Let me before I go, I'm sorry, this is a long ending, but let me show you the car that I'm looking at that I might get. All right, so here it is. I might be getting this GS300. It has like 92,000 miles. It's fully optioned out. It has navigation, Mark Levinson sound system. Oh, factory HID headlights. There's only a couple options these cars had, and it basically has all of them. So yeah, I hope that works out. I hope I get this car because it's super clean, garage kept. The interior is crazy clean because usually the leather be torn up and the center console will be cracked and torn up, but it's all just, it's really nice. All right. Alright guys, for real, that's it for this video. If you want to stay tuned, please subscribe. See the new head gasket thrown in the turbo D16. I'm going to turn that sucker up to like 20 pounds at least. Stay tuned for the LS swapped IS300, for the possible GS300 I might be getting, and just stick around, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Later.